another day of adventures with Wes and Jeff, and we are in the south central section of Arizona at Saguaro National Park. It's named after the famous cactus, the iconic cactus, this tall guy with the arms on it, and it's the largest cactus in the United States, and this is where it lives here at Saguaro National Park. So stick with me today and I will show you the things to see and do at this interesting park.
Located in America's Southwest in the southeastern part of the state of Arizona, near the city of Tucson, and in the heart of the Sonoran Desert is Saguaro National Park. The park was established as a national monument back in 1933 and became a national park in 1994. It is 91,327 acres in size. The park is separated into two main districts, the Rincon Mountain District to the east and the Tucson Mountain District to the west, with the city of Tucson separating the two. Saguaro National Park sees 1 million visitors per year. The park gets its name, saguaro, from the large upright cactus that is native to the Sonoran Desert and that does not grow naturally elsewhere in the United States, or in the world for that matter. The saguaro cactus can grow up to 40 feet tall, grow several arms, and live up to 200 years. The oldest saguaro lived to be about 300 years old. The park has 165 miles of hiking trails and sightseeing opportunities along paved roads near its two visitor centers.
Red Hills Visitor Center, which is their main visitor center here on the west side of the park at the Tucson Mountain District. And this is a really nice visitor center, and they have two short trails that go right out the back door that look out onto the mountain. I'll show you what there is to see and do here inside the visitor center at Red Hills. The Red Hills Visitor Center. There's a 5-minute video, and then there's another video. There's really beautiful pictures along the walls, and the desert terrain. And the different animals. I'm going to pick up these little phones and listen to the birds and the different things. Lots of desert wildlife. These people are paying their fees. This is they don't have the kiosks. They don't have where you pay as you come into the park. This is the movie theater. The different types of cacti that are here at the park. You can get your stamp. I'm going to get my stamp. Just date it. And then a nice little store where you can buy different things. The rangers are here to answer questions for you. So this is one of the two short trails, point 2, that they have here at the visitor center with this view. This below here is the Desert Wash, and a wash is where the water comes when it's flowing, but it's not flowing right now. They have had rains today, but not enough to make the wash active. But this is a dry bed of an intermittent stream called a desert wash. For a short time during the desert thunderstorms, flash floods rush down the mountain slopes and through the desert washes to nearby rivers. However, beneath the wash's sandy surface, some moisture remains throughout the year, so non-succulent plants do thrive in this area. And so I'm going to walk down these stairs and take the little point 2. I'm here at the Cactus Garden Trail. It's a point 2. It's right outside the doors of the Red Hills Visitor Center. And it has interpretive signs about the different cactus and different plants that you can experience here at this national park.
Beware of the chain fruit cholla and the cholla cactus, also known as the teddy bear cactus. It has prickly barbed spines that detach into the skin of its victims if provoked. Rainfall, elevation, and soil type control the variability of the saguaro's growth. Here in the Tucson Mountains, a 10-year-old saguaro may grow only a few inches high, and a 30-year-old plant might maintain a height of 2 feet. Some of the larger ones growing in this park may weigh over 5 tons. A saguaro's internal framework consists of woody ribs surrounded by water-storing tissue called cortex. When filled, cortex is about 80% water. A saguaro's exterior pleated skin may have a brownish tone. This coloration may signify maturity, not necessarily depletion of water and impeding death. Jojoba is a shrub that grows in the Sonoran Desert. The oil and wax from the jojoba plant are used in medicines produced from the seeds. Jojoba is applied directly to the skin for pain relief from sunburns, used as a moisturizer for dry skin, acne and oil skin balancer, and used in lip balms. I'm at the Javelina Wash Trail, and it goes down to the wash, which is a dry riverbed, and it fills up once they have thunderstorms and monsoons that come through the desert. So I'm going to just take this 0.2 of a mile down to the wash and see what that's all about. The Javelina Wash Trail. For thousands of years, the Javelina Wash has been a corridor of life for many Sonoran desert plants and animals. And you're wondering where the water is right now. Well, there's no water right now, but when animals traveled this wash in the last 24 hours, if there was some water that comes down through here, it's often frequented by the animals that live here in the desert in order to get a drink. And just a very beautiful view of the surroundings, the mountains here. So this is the wash trail, and it takes you down to the wash. I've seen quite a few birds, and I did see the roadrunner earlier. So he was scampering across the road in front of me. There's the prickly pear. This is the wash here. It's kind of gravelly because it carries down with it from the mountains the sand and small particles into the wash. So you can just walk along this. Certain times of year when there is too much water in this area, you cannot navigate this trail. So this is only a 0.2, so it loops along here. You can see where the water has rushed along the edges here and have carved and pulled some of that rock away. But this is one of the desert plants here that's blooming right now.
There's the Wash Trail, Desert Wash Trail. Very interesting. And it's right outside the Red Hills Visitor Center. I'm at the trailhead here at the Desert Discovery Nature Trail, and it's a 0.5 of a mile nature trail that goes in here, and it has a variety of different plants and the Saguaro cactus, of course, and the desert ecosystem. It's an easy trail, and it's very educational. And it's great for all ages. It's a dog-friendly trail as well. Jeff and I were here about 2 years ago, and we were able to walk our dogs on this trail on a leash, of course. But here at this trail, it's self-guided, and it's 1 mile northwest of the Red Hills Visitor Center. And the exhibits here discuss the native plants, animals, and ecology of the Sonoran Desert. This paved trail is wheelchair accessible and offers resting benches and shade ramadas along the way. So let's take a look and see what this nature trail is all about. Along the Desert Discovery Nature Trail. This is 0.5. It's actually a really nice trail because we have the springtime and the plants are blooming with flowers, and there's fantastic views, multiple cactus and different types of plants along the trail. Very nice. And Desert Discovery Nature Trail is in the Sonoran Desert here. It's green with strangely shaped plants and teeming with the ceaseless activities of insects and birds and mammals, all dependent on each other to win the daily struggle and battle for life. Mature saguaros dominate the Sonoran Desert and are living examples of the interdependency necessary for both plants and animals. The saguaro is an ideal residence for birds, bats, and bees, which find the inner temperature 20 degrees cooler in the summer, correspondingly warmer in the winter. So nest deserted by Gila woodpeckers or gilded flicker bird become home to the screech and the elf owls. White red-tailed hawks nest on the arms of these guys. Saguaro blossoms open less than 24 hours for pollination, and they rely on the insects and the instincts of birds, bees, and other winged insects by day, and the moths and bats by night. Even this massive effort is not enough to guarantee that the seeds of this largest cactus of the United States will germinate, and as many as 22 million produced in a lifetime will take root. Some saguaro seeds are eaten by birds, which find them ingestible and void them, often when perched in mesquite or Palo Verde trees. The young cacti growing from these seeds then receive the shelter needed for their early growth. This is the Bajada Loop Trail. It goes for 6 miles. It is somewhat of a gravel road, but it's got a nice view of the saguaro cactus, and there are some trails that go off of this one that you can park your vehicle and go. There's also the Signal Hill Trail that has the petroglyphs. So this is a nice little drive through here, and you can just take your time. It's kind of bumpy, but it's a nice drive. You can, like this car, you can pull off and just kind of sit and enjoy the surroundings. The hills are off in the distance, so it's a really nice drive. On the Bajada Loop Drive, there's a certain section that splits off and it makes it one way to make it a loop, because it's not wide enough for 2 vehicles to meet each other. So I'm just going to take this little loop off to the right and follow this counterclockwise and just take in the sights here on the Bajada Loop Drive. So here along the Bajada Loop Drive, it's 6 miles total, and it loops around, and it's the highest concentration of this cactus in the park. So it's really nice little drive, and it this is where the Hugh Norris Trail is. The Hugh Norris Trail goes up into the hills there. It's a nice little trail to take along the drive. Micah View Trailhead. It's only 0.8 of a mile, and it is a trail where you can get up and close to the saguaro cactus and the prickly pears and the ironwood trees, and it continues on down through this little wash here. So I'm going to take this little trail and see what it has offered. This is along the Bajada Loop Drive, and it's about 3 to 5 miles north of the Red Hills Visitor Center. During this hike, you should be able to see we'll pass through 2 washes and then gradually ascend a little ridge, all in 0.8 of a mile. So I'm going to take a look and see what this has to offer. There are so many of these tall cactus here. This is a really cool trail. So it descends down into this wash here, but there are so many of these tall guys, and it's just very, very populated. This is about the chain fruit cholla, and just a really nice trail. This is called the Valley View Overlook Trail. Lots of informational placards about the different types of plants, and things seem to be really blooming right now. So I'm hiking along the Valley View Trail, and this is just, so far, I've only been here for a few hours, but this is my favorite trail. You have to do this trail if you come to this national park because it is so much vegetation and so many different types of cactus on this trail to observe. And then this time of year, this is the last part of March, so it's their high season for visitors, but it's also the time of year where things are blooming. The cactus are starting to bloom, and everything is starting to get colorful, and just really an interesting terrain. It's so interesting on this Valley View Trail because all of these saguaro cactus, no two are alike. They all grow at the arms at a different spot along the stem. Just looking out over, it's interesting to see how they all develop. Some of them have like little short ones, and then some of them, like this one, grew 3 together, and some have the little arms coming out from all sides. So it's just really interesting to see all these different ones. Along the Valley View Trail, they didn't lie to you. It is a view of the valley along the trail. See there? It's pretty cool. Here along the Valley View Trail, you can see on this Saguaro that things do chew into it to make their home or to eat part of it. So, and then you see on the others where they've chewed into it as well. As you get to the end of the Valley View Trail, there's some final steps, and it gets up to the very peak, or at the end, where you can see great views overlooking the valley here. So this is the end of the trail here at Valley View. Great overlook of the valley, looking to the west and to the north. And then if you look right over there is the parking lot where you start. So it winds its way here. It is not a loop trail. It is out and back. Very interesting to walk up this desert wash where sometimes the water is rushing down through here and making rapids. But today it's completely dry. But during the monsoon season and sometimes when we get a lot of rain up in those hills, it all washes down through this Small little channel, so nobody put the sand here. It was placed here from breaking off little pieces of the rocks and making this natural wash. So the Signal Hill Petroglyphs Trail is currently closed, so I have to navigate the road, the Signal Hill Trail. It goes up to it goes up these switchbacks, zigzags, up to the petroglyphs that were created here about 800 years ago by the Native Americans. So let's check it out. The rock art found within this national park was created by the prehistoric Hohokam people. They may have picked these petroglyphs more than 1,000 years ago while hunting and gathering expeditions in this area. Rock art is found throughout American Southwest wherever prehistoric peoples lived and journeyed. At this national park, many expressions of rock art known as petroglyphs were pecked into stones. We do not know why the petroglyphs and what they mean, why they were put there, but they could have had religious or ceremonial significance. They may have been solstice markers, clan symbols, decorative motifs, or simply ancient graffiti. The petroglyphs here at Signal Hill confirm to the distinctive Hohokam style in Tucson. Abstract designs outnumber life forms at most sites. Human stick figures, game animals, dogs, lizards, snakes, and geometric shapes are frequently portrayed. Spirals and designs with circles are quite common and often are a part of the elaborate meander of net designs. Once you get up here to Signal Hill, you get to see prehistoric people's designs. Let's look at those. See them on the rocks. Zoom in. There's the sun. And there's a spiral that they were talking about. And a bunch of other designs. You just look all over the rocks. There's some deer or some kind of antelope or something on that rock, and stick figures throughout.
This crested or crestate saguaro is a unique phenomenon that happens when the crest develops at the growing point. Just to the south and literally across the street from the Saguaro National Park is the Arizona-Sonora Desert Museum, which is a 98-acre zoo, aquarium, botanical garden, natural history museum, art gallery attraction founded in 1952 that showcases the animals, aquatic life, desert plants, geology, and the cultural history of the Sonoran Desert region. This unique desert museum is ranked as one of the top 10 museums in the country and the #1 Tucson attraction. With 2 miles of walking paths through various desert habitats, the outdoor adventure is a great way to experience desert wildlife and plants in their natural habitat.
show you the things to see and do here on the east side of Saguaro National Park. The Rincon Mountain Visitor Center here on the east side of the park. And we're going to go in and take a look and see what they have inside. A lot of bicycles on the side. So it's more than a desert. So this is the visitor center. So they got some gifts, and they've got the arrangers that can answer questions for you. Then they've got a little explanation and a little walking museum that shows you the way that they had their cabins in the early days. And the different animals, the javelina and the rattlesnake and the bats, and life in this part of the park. And they have these picture windows, which are pretty cool, which you can learn all about the different inhabitants of this park. Looks out onto the desert and the park. Very cool. They're showing the video now, which there's the javelina, there's the desert tortoise. The visitor center, there is a posting of the ranger programs that you can join in during the day, which is free of charge with admission. And today they're having a garden walk here at the visitor center, and then a sunset hike, and then they have the nighttime twilight program. So the high is only supposed to be 68 degrees today. The low is 46. Sunset, sunrise times. And then they have also, here at the Visitor Center, they have a nice little garden with all the different types of plants that you might be able to see through the park. So it's pretty educational, and it's a good first stop when you visit the park, either on the east side or on the west side. They both have a similar setup with the plants and a description of each. The curacao, the soap tree, yucca, like this one, and the chain fruit, cholla, all the different types. And then they also have water where you can fill up your water bottles, because it's important to stay hydrated. Particular saguaro sprouted from a tiny black seed back in 1916, and it was carefully transplanted here at the Visitor Center. The monument honors Stephen Mather, that he was the one that laid the foundation for this national park. He's the one that went to Hoover back in 1933 and got it established originally as a monument, national monument. Then it became a national park in 1994. So this is an 8-mile loop drive through the park, and there's several scenic overlooks that you can look out and read more about the ecology and the environment here in the Sonoran Desert. I'm at the Rincon District, the Rincon Mountain District of this national park. The mountains are off in the distance. There are so many cactus and different types. There are 25 different types of cactus that make this place their home. So you have the Eastern District that has the mountains off in the distance. And yesterday I was at the western portion of the park, which it was called the Tucson Mountain District. Today I'm in this district, and it's so quiet and peaceful over here. You have the mountains, you have this section of the park, and off in the distance you have a little bit of snow at the top of the mountains there because it gets up pretty high. Pan for you a little bit. You have the different types of cactus. The Micah View Trail. It is 2 miles round trip, and I'm going to take this little trail in here. It's an easy flat walk. Jeff and I was here about 2 years ago. We had our dogs with us, and you can have them on a leash. It's dog friendly, so it's a very nice trail that goes back into the cactus, and it's a nice wide trail. So I'm going to check it out and see what it's all about. Hiking along the Micah View Trail, and I really like the fish hook barrel cactus and how it's blooming this time of year. I want to show you this guy. Poisonous to humans as well as animals. It wreaks havoc with their digestion system. Many but not all of the saguaros grow arms. Some of them are just straight up. The inside of the cactus is made of wooden ribs which resemble the tree trunk. This wooden framework supports the cactus and its weight. Growing over these ribs is a green, fleshy skin that absorbs the water. The cacti absorbs water, gallons and gallons of this water, up to like 200 gallons, in order to store it for the future. And if there's a drought or during the summer months and there's no monsoons, they have to sustain themselves. The waxy coating on the outside of this cacti covers the skin, and it slows the precipitation of the water to survive those summer months of drought. These cactus can weigh up to 16,000 pounds or 8 tons. The roots of the cactus fan out as far as it is tall, sipping up water when it rains. One saguaro can soak up as much as 200 gallons of water, enough to sustain itself for a whole year. I'm here on the Micah View Trail, and I have these folks behind me with their dog. I was telling you that just 2 years ago we had our 2 chocolate labs on a leash on this trail. So this trail is dog friendly, and people have a good time giving their dogs a little stretch out, but they have to keep them on a leash. And you know why? Because all of those cactus have little prickly, pokey things, and no doubt if you let your dog off that leash, it will get it in its paw. I'm at the Desert Ecology Trail. Along the Desert Ecology Trail, this is a mesquite tree, and they play an important role here at the desert in protecting the saguaro seeds and help them rejuvenate. Flowers are blooming here at the desert along the trail. Lots of places to have a sit. So walking along the Desert Ecology Trail, this you see a lot of these small mesquite trees and plants in this low-lying area. Mixed in are some of the cacti and the saguaro. But this is a kind of different little landscape, so it's pretty interesting. It talks about each of the placards talk about something different. This one in particular talks about the guest. The desert mistletoe is a native parasite that takes root and taps nutrients from the Mexican criollo and other desert plants, often misperceived as a slow killer of the host plant. The desert mistletoe provides food and shelter for dozens of birds and species. So it talks about the pack rat that lives here in the desert and makes his home collecting stuff. That's why they call him a pack rat. Here at the base of the prickly pear. I saw a pack rat yesterday when I was taking photos of the sunset. High-rise home for many of the desert dwellers. So let me see. Woodpeckers, gilded flickers carve apartments that can be 15 degrees cooler on a hot day, and once they move out, other tenants move in. The Gila monster is one of the rarest reptiles to run into in the Sonora Desert and is the only venomous lizard found in the United States. It's also the largest lizard in the United States, growing up to 22 inches long and weighing over 1 pound. It is covered in orange and black bead-like scales. I'm at the trailhead for the Cactus Forest Trail. And this one is on the north end. It bisects this section of the park by about 5 miles. And I'm gonna do the 0.9 section down to the old lime kilns, because I think that's of interest. And tell you some history about the lime kilns that they operated back in the day. talks about the cactus stack. In the 1930s, the University of Arizona created the Saguaro Forest State Park within the boundaries of the national park, the national monument. And there was a ranger station here. It's no longer here, but this is the foundation for it, because now it's all part of the national park. So hiking along the Lime Kiln Trail, it's just a short little loop off of the Cactus Forest Trail. It goes down the hill to at least two of the old lime kilns. And it's well marked with a Lime Kiln loop. And there's an actual horse tie off there for folks. And this continues and bisects the park. So also another destination you can take is the Lime Falls, which is point 4. And the point 4 you can see up on the hillside where the falls are coming down the hill. In the 1880s, the railroad arrived in Tucson, and the city needed to modernize. The adobe mud walls need whitewash. The dusty rooms need plaster. New structures need brick and mortar, and the demand for quicklime grew. So this was the supplier of that lime, the Lime Kiln, and they were very interesting. These are the lime kilns here on the trail. So they brought the lime down from the mountains, and they brought it in here, and once it was they heated it up, and then they bagged it and they shipped it by wagon over dusty roads to Tucson stores. Tucked in the hillsides here along the Cactus Forest Trail, and then there's an offshoot for the Lime Kiln Trail, are these old lime kilns, and they're the remnants of 2-century-old kilns, stone structures where limestone from nearby slopes were processed into lime for mortar and plaster used in building. The kilns and a few others in more remote parts of the park here were used from the 1880s until 1920. The limestone came from the hill to the east of here. Flip the camera around. So there's the hills to the east. So they brought it down here. The process they used to convert the limestone into lime was kind of interesting, sometimes known as quick lime. It involved placing the limestone into beehive-shaped kilns like what's behind me here, and heating it to a high temperature by burning palo verde and mesquite wood cut from the trees in this area. The limestone turned to powder when it was heated, and it was used for plaster, mortar, and whitewash. A dispute over the trees led to the kiln's closure in the 1920s. Ranchers in the area wanted the trees because their cattle were feeding on the beans of the mesquite tree. The ranchers had grazing rights, and the kiln people didn't have rights at all. So the ranchers took the lime kiln guys to court, and the kilns were shut down for good. But so it's just the remnants of the kilns that are left. There's more than just one kiln, lime kiln. There's a couple that are in the hillsides here. So from the Lime Kiln Loop, I decided to continue on another 0.4 of a mile up this wash to the Lime Falls. We had recent rains yesterday, and it rained pretty good, so there's a possibility there could be some water, but there's none in the wash right now. So the Lime Falls Trail kind of bisects and comes in and out of the wash. So there is actual water coming down from the mountains at Lime Falls. There's no water rushing down it today, but I bet you when there's water, this is quite a little sight to see. That's probably kind of dangerous to be back in here too, because it's all got to funnel through this little canyon. At Lime Kiln Falls, it was another 0.4 from the limestone kilns loop trail, but there's not much water coming down from the falls, but it is an interesting little hike up the wash, so maybe you'll catch more water when you come to visit. Lots of bicycles. You're gonna have to watch for the bicycles because people like to bike this loop. One of the more interesting spots along this drive is the Javelina Rocks, and the Javelina Rocks is kind of an overlook, and it's a great sunset spot. Climb up on the rocks and check it out. I'm at one of the stops along the way. It's called Javelina Rocks, and so let me tell you about that. So the Javelina Rocks is a layer cake looking rock here. It's called Javelina after the pig-looking desert animal. And the Javelina, other small animals are also found along these rocks, so they're ideal for shelter and shade from the heat of the desert. So the Javelinas are not a pig. They are something different, and the Javelinas bear only 1 to 3 young at a time, and the Javelinas weigh about 60 pounds, and they have scent glands on their backs. So this is a Javelina here. You can see what he looks. It looks kind of like a pig, but a little bit different. They also have the western diamondback rattlesnake here, rock squirrels, and the giant desert hairy scorpion. So that's what those look like. So this is an ancient granite rock changed by forces deep in the earth along the detachment fault, and now they're raised to the surface. The rock reveal bands of minerals caused by the stretching and movement of the earth's crust. So people like to climb amongst these rocks. They're just kind of interesting for kids and adults that act like kids to climb up on these rocks here. And so I'm gonna partake in that. It's kind of a pretty day. Nice and cool up on these rocks. And it has a great overview. This is a good spot. So you can see how it kind of winds in here, and it's a good spot to take in the sunset. Overlooks this whole part of the park. And this rock kind of has moss looking stuff on it. It's very cool. If you enjoyed watching this video and sharing my adventure with me today, please hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to our channel and joining us on seeing and touring
63 national parks in the United States.
So whatever you're doing today, get out into the great outdoors and do something that makes you smile.